Today, we're going deep, and I mean literally. We're going to explore how one of the world's most advanced cities is solving a huge problem by building a secret world right under its own feet. So let's dig in.
It's a question every big city has to ask itself eventually. But what do you do when building up or out just isn't an option anymore? Well, Singapore has come up with a pretty radical answer.
See, for this tiny island nation, that question isn't just some hypothetical. It's a real, pressing issue they deal with every single day. So let's get into the core challenge that's sparking all this incredible innovation. Okay, so imagine this. You've got a booming economy and more people living on a pretty small island. You have to get creative, right? The land on the surface is just way too valuable for things like sprawling power plants or storage facilities. So if you can't build out and you can't always build up, you're left with one choice. You have to build down. And that is exactly what Singapore is doing. It's not just a one-off project. It's part of a huge national master plan. They are systematically moving the country's most critical infrastructure into this massive new frontier underground.
And we're not just talking about a few extra tunnels here. This is a complete, top-to-bottom strategy to relocate the hidden machinery that makes a modern city run. So let's start our journey downward. Our first stop is the really essential stuff, the services that keep the whole city alive. I'm talking about the city's lifelines, power, transportation, and water, and they are all being completely reimagined deep beneath the ground. So check this out. This is the Labrador 230 kV substation. It's the first of its kind in Southeast Asia. Now, it's a huge power facility, but if you were to walk by on the street, all you'd see is a 34-story office building. The real action, the part that's actually powering the city, is happening completely out of sight, way down below.
And here's the payoff. The reason they do it. 3 hectares. That is a staggering amount of prime real estate that's now free for things like parks or homes or businesses, all because they moved just one facility underground.
And this quote, wow, it just perfectly captures the unbelievable engineering challenge here. Just try to picture it. Coordinating the lowering of something that weighs as much as 90 cars into this tight, subterranean cavern, it's just a mind-blowing feat of planning and pure precision. It's not just the power grid that's going deep. Let's talk about getting around. The Cross Island Line isn't just another subway line. It's a 50-kilometer artery that's designed to connect the entire island, all without adding a single inch of track to the surface. But building it created a huge dilemma. So the engineers had a tough choice to make. Do they tunnel directly underneath a protected nature reserve, or do they take a much longer route around it? The direct path was way deeper. We're talking 70 meters down in solid granite. But it was shorter and would save commuters time. The route around it was shallower, but it was longer, and the construction would have been much closer to people's homes. In the end, after a ton of research, they went with the deeper, direct route, which minimized any impact on the surface. Okay, so we've covered power and people. Now let's talk about water. And believe me, this is not your average sewer system. What they call the Deep Tunnel Sewerage System, or DTSS, is a total game changer for water sustainability. It's basically a superhighway that uses gravity to move used water all across the island. And this map just drives home the incredible scale of this thing. What you're looking at is basically a hidden river network. These gigantic tunnels, some of them are 6 meters wide, they crisscross the entire nation, just using the power of gravity to pull everything toward one super advanced treatment plant. But this is where the design gets truly brilliant. The water system is built right next to a waste management facility, and together they create this perfect self-sustaining loop. So the waste facility takes sludge from the water plant to create biogas. That biogas then generates electricity to power the water plant, and then the water plant sends cooling water back to the waste facility. It's a closed loop. Absolutely nothing is wasted. All right, now we're going to go even deeper. So far, we've seen tunnels for things like trains and water, but Singapore is also creating these colossal caverns, literally carving them out of solid rock for heavy industry. Welcome to the Jurong Rock Caverns. We are now 150 meters below ground. To put that in perspective, that's deeper than a 40-story building is tall. This is Southeast Asia's very first underground storage facility for oil and chemicals. JTC, the agency that built this, has a tagline, taking storage solutions to new depths. And it is so spot on. They didn't just bury a few tanks. They've hollowed out these cathedral-sized spaces from solid bedrock to house a critical part of the country's energy supply, completely hidden from view. And the sheer scale of it is it's mind-boggling. Get this. These caverns can hold enough liquid hydrocarbons to fill nearly 600 Olympic-sized swimming pools. And the reward for all that? Up on the surface, 60 hectares of prime land are saved. And this is just the start. They're already looking into even more ambitious ideas, like a massive underground science city for research labs and super secure, naturally cooled data centers buried deep within the earth. So after our journey deep beneath the city, let's come back up for air and ask the big question. What's the major takeaway here? Why does all of this matter?
Well, it really boils down to 3 key advantages. First, it's about making the most of the land, freeing up space for people to actually live, work, and play. Second, it's about security, right? Protecting these vital systems from anything that could happen on the surface. And third, it's about sustainability, just like that amazing closed-loop system we saw with the water and waste facilities.
And that right there is what makes this so important. This isn't just Singapore solving its own unique problem. It's creating a potential blueprint for the future of all giant cities. As urban areas all over the world start running out of space, you can bet they're looking at solutions just like this. I mean, take Tokyo's incredible G-CANS project, for example. People call it the underground temple. It's this enormous subterranean channel built for one specific purpose, to prevent floods. Singapore, on the other hand, is building an entire integrated world beneath that does a whole bunch of different things. Both are genius solutions to really tough urban problems. Which leaves us with one last, pretty fascinating question to think about. For centuries, we've looked up to the sky, building taller and taller to create our future. But what if the next great untapped frontier for all of us has been right here the whole time, just waiting quietly under our feet?